The third week of the new administration is starting off with an all-out trade war against our biggest trading partners, China, Mexico, and Canada. And right before the show, a one-month pause on tariffs against Mexico was announced. But here's how Canada says they're preparing to fight back. Take a look.
I want to speak directly to Americans. Tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We've been helping everybody for years, and to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that.
And Canadian citizens showed how they felt about these tariffs at NBA and NHL games over the weekend. Take a look. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Never.
I'm sorry. And I have to say, even the conservative media is warning about the price Americans are going to pay for this. So, I mean, everybody's saying, hey, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea. And of course, he's going to go along with it. So, how will this impact everyone? Well, I'm not sure what that question is supposed to be, but erase that, and what do you think?
So Republicans have long been against tariffs, and there's a reason the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal, is calling this the dumbest trade war in history.
Yep.
But I think the open question of people right now who are really nervous because these costs will fall to American consumers is this a bargaining chip for Trump because he wants to get something from these countries, or is he going to go full bore and commit to this? And there's early indications it may be a negotiating tactic. So the Mexican president, as you mentioned, came out and said there's a pause in the tariff. She's agreeing to send 10,000 Mexican troops to the U.S. border to help with border crossings. He's having a second call with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau today, see if there may be a concession there. And I would just say this. I've traveled all over the world as part of U.S. delegations in diplomacy in my previous capacity. And what makes America the most powerful nation on earth is that we have friends and allies. And it's because we engage in international trade, we don't bully our friends, we show up and give international aid. And if we stop doing that, which is what I feel like Trump is leaning into, I'm not saying that that's fully what he's doing yet, we're ceding our role of global superpower to China because they will step in, they will show up, and they will be friends to the people that we're giving not a nice signal to in Canada and elsewhere.
That Wall Street Journal article she just referenced has a line which reminds us of the old Bernard Lewis joke. It's risky to be America's enemy, but it can be fatal to be its friend. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. He is signaling to our allies, long-held allies, largest trading partners. These are the people who vote with us in the international organizations. These are the people who send soldiers to go to war with us when we are fighting, you know, in the Middle East, when we're fighting any sort of war. Canada sends its soldiers. These are the people that have been by us time and time again, that send their pilots and their planes to help us put out our fires, literally and figuratively. These are our friends, and we are treating them like trash. We are bullying them. And, you know, it's as if, like, I look at this thing in Mexico and I'm thinking, okay, as if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough. As if emboldening the racial profiling and bigotry against Latinos wasn't enough. As if revoking temporary protective status for 500,000 Venezuelans wasn't enough. As if bullying Panama wasn't enough. Now he's going to tax our tequila and avocados?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I think it'll make sense when you want to get some tequila and it's really high. The cost of it is really high. I think that what people fail to realize, many people, is how interconnected our economies are. You know, they're like, America first, America first. Let's make everything here. Let's do everything here. Let's be very insulated. And that sounds good, it sounds patriotic, but we are geopolitically connected to the rest of the world. We don't want to be isolated from everyone else. And I'll just say, you know, Mexico, Canada, and China together accounted for more than 40% of total U.S. imports last year. But more importantly, Canada and Mexico are the top buyers of U.S. exports in more than 72% of all export categories. 72%. We send our stuff over there. So now if there are these tariffs, that's going to cause problems, billions of dollars of problems. And if the tariffs, if they in turn return the tariffs, let's say it's your coffee, you have a coffee store, and you're going to sell a cup of coffee, and your coffee is $5. We know how expensive coffee is, right?
Yeah.
You sell coffee for $5. Now the coffee beans coming in from Mexico are now $5 more. You think if I own that shop, I'm going to eat that $5? No. Your cup of coffee just costs $10.
Well,
and that's the deal.
Sonny, when you talk about the interconnectedness, a vehicle made in North America goes across all the borders multiple times until it's actually done. But the part that gets me here is Donald Trump won on the economy and immigration. That's what we keep saying. Those were the two leading things. We talked so much about, well, what happened? Why aren't the price of eggs getting better? This was the other part he promised, which was tariffs. So in some ways, sometimes you get what you voted for, which is the people that voted for him, he told us this was going to happen. And he won anyone making under $50,000. He won in spades. So people with the least, the people that will feel this the most. Sonny, you speak of your $5, now $10 cup of metaphorical coffee.
What about your eggs?
Well, the eggs. But my point here is that
eggs are so
the
expensive,
people,
we're going to have to cut our potatoes this
Everyone
Easter.
everyone is going to feel this. But there's a lot of people, I would argue, at this table who are going to feel it less.
Yeah.
Yes.
The people that put him into office and voted for this were warned in bold letters this was what he was going to do, and he's doing it.
I'd also like to point out that there is a reason people don't really take a lot of our things that we export, because the quality of what we put out has not always been the best. When we look at what's in our foods, other countries won't accept food from us if it's chock full of the stuff that
Preservatives and shelf
we allow to
stabilizers.
go through. So you can talk about making American and building American, but that also requires that we make big changes as to how we do things.
Maybe R.F. Kennedy Jr. can fix that.
But there other countries consume a ton of our food products. Listen, in Kentucky, they're freaked out that bourbon sales in Canada are going to go down
Because Canada's
to the floor.
refused to carry some of the American liquors already.
But again, you know, when you say this is going to hurt, but it ain't going to hurt you.
No.
See, that's the
him.
part that's tough. And I don't know what's going to happen with these tariffs and what it means tax-wise for people, because now you got this extra money you're paying out. Now you got extra taxes you got to pay. You got all this extra stuff. You know, the American people are not wallets. They are hardworking people. This is their money. And if you're making it hard for them to eat, when you said you were going to fix it, it's really annoying. It's really annoying.